Are you a woman standing at a crossroads, eager for change? It's time to connect with your authentic and empowered self at Boss Leap. Join Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker in this empowering community where real-life stories of courageous and talented women inspire and motivate. Engage in honest conversations that foster well-being, drawing from our own journeys. Let us guide you toward profound growth and transformation in both your personal and professional life. Here are your hosts, Dr. Sylvia Morris and Dr. Angela Walker.
Welcome back to Boss Leap Podcast, where every week we talk to amazing women who've made leaps both personally and professionally. I'm Dr. Sylvia Morris.
And I'm Dr. Angela Walker. And today we have a guest who is doing the work, the real work, of making sure women in medicine don't just survive their careers, they actually thrive in them.
She is a board-certified internist and hospitalist, a national recognized speaker, a champion for physician wellness, and the founder of Women Physicians Wellness Conference, an experience she created specifically to bring women physicians together to find the courage, the clarity, and the community to succeed on their own terms.
She has given over 200 talks on everything from conflict management to boundary setting to gaining clarity in your clinical career. And she has been recognized with some of the highest teaching honors in medicine. Because she doesn't just talk about doing things differently, she models it.
We are so excited to welcome to Boss Leap Podcast, Dr. Erica Howe.
Well, hello, Angela and Sylvia. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
It is absolutely a pleasure and our honor for sure. And I just want to start before we dive into, all the fascinating details of what you do in your career and your life now. Tell us in your own words who you are, where you started, not the bio, not the credentials, just about you.
Yeah, gosh. I was a military brat growing up, so we moved all around. Everybody always asks where I'm from, and basically you can just pick a state in the United States, and I've probably lived there. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the University of Utah. My dad retired when we were in Utah, and so I had in-state tuition. So like any smart pre-med student, I wanted to save some money, so I went to the University of Utah for undergrad, and then
very smart.
Thank you. I knew I wanted a different experience after that, and I kind of just applied all over, and I really had not lived in the South before, so I applied to Tulane in New Orleans.
Oh, yes.
I went down there, and I remember getting off the plane and just feeling like this was home, and I absolutely loved it. I had done a couple medical missions in Africa at that point, and on my tour at Charity Hospital, they had wooden wheelchairs, just like in Africa, and it just spoke to me.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yes.
And this was before Katrina. I don't mean to date you, but you mentioned Charity Hospital.
That's okay. It was before Katrina, and then when I was at the beginning of my second year of residency, I was actually one of the residents that stayed behind. And I was in the hospital at the VA during Katrina and for about days after. And then we got...
Erica, do you mind sharing a little bit about that? Because I remember watching it on the news because I lived in D.C. at the time. And it seemed unimaginable. But can you talk about that experience? What did you learn?
Oh, gosh. I learned that attitude is everything. Mindset is everything.
Yes.
I will tell you, we had some first responders that came to help us. And this was day 3. And so it was the military. And they showed up, and very young, as one would imagine. They had been on a different mission and had come straight to rescue us. And they were tired. And now this is day 3. We have cancer patients that have been without their, pain medicine. We have COPD patients that have been out without their breathing medicine. We're running.
Did you have electricity? Because I'm thinking about ventilators and handbagging people.
Right. So what we did was the first night. So the Superdome was directly across the street from us. You could see it. In fact, I
Okay.
watched the roof
Yes.
get torn off that night from my call room because our call room was up on the 10th floor. And so
Hi.
very high, yeah. So what we did was we ended up transferring the ventilator patients when the generators went out we were bagging them, of course, over to the Superdome because we had
Thank
heard that we
God.
were the first to get evacuated. And everybody was kind of doing the same thing. So we didn't have
Mhm.
ventilator patients, but we did have sick patients for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Yes.
really, like many people in New Orleans saw the hospitals as a safe haven because,
Yes.
Absolutely.
concrete and they're, stronger
Yeah.
buildings than their houses,
Sure.
understandably. So we had a lot of people that came in, like, the nurses' families would came in and
Mm.
Mhm.
in the waiting rooms and that type of thing. And
Mhm.
I remember the first day of the evacuation, it was day 3, and the military came in, and this is not to begrudge the military, this was just my personal experience. They took a nap on our docks, and they
Mhm.
said, "Hey, you have to get all these patients down to the docks, and then we'll evacuate them." And, of course, we don't have electricity, our elevators don't work. You could actually if
Stairs.
you got into the elevator, you could hear the water flowing in from the
Oh,
basement.
Jesus.
So,
Wow.
Erica.
so, people that you might think wouldn't help in a situation like that, the families of those nurses, they
Came in.
saw us carrying patients down, and I mean, we're talking like 16-year-old guys, right? Like, they're just here because their
Yes.
mom's here or their dad's here, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, "Dr. Howe, what you doing? Like, let me help you." And they would sit there. I mean, we're having, like, 90-year-old demented patients in a diaper
Yes.
who are naked
Yes.
'cause it's so hot. It's 100%
Mhm.
Sylvia,
Yes.
percent humidity in New Orleans, and
Yeah.
Yes.
they're
Can
helping me
only imagine.
carry down these patients, these 16-year-old boys, right? Who
Yeah.
are like, "Let me step in and help." And, like,
Mhm.
I've got the military that should be helping, and they're taking naps. And just seeing that difference was, like, just
Mhm.
it was I don't know, and I still don't even have words for it. It was so much about community, and I had lived
Yeah.
Yes.
for just a couple of years, but, like, the way that a community can come together in a difficult situation and lift each other
Mhm.
up
Mhm.
versus kind of tear each other down,
Yeah.
Mhm.
something I will never, like,
Yeah.
let go of. Like, that was just
Yeah.
so beautiful to me and
Mhm.
inspiring, and it's anytime there's kind of a difficult moment where I see a challenge that's happening for somebody else, I'm reminded of that moment, like, these
Humanity. Mhm.
the humanity and these young men who weren't even fully grown themselves. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're in high school, like,
Yeah.
I've got a high schooler now, and, like, and they just stepped in, and it was so beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
it was all about just, "We're gonna get through this together," you know? It
Right.
was
Mhm.
just really, really it's so funny because it was certainly, one can say, a traumatic experience, but I
Yeah.
really don't see it like that. It was so beautiful to me in so many ways,
Mhm.
just seeing our community come together and support each other, and
Yeah.
just the culture in New Orleans is so positive in so many ways. I mean, Southern
Yes.
culture is just so wonderful. It's just so,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like, you can be talking to a patient that really has nothing, like, they're struggling, and they're like, "Bless you, Doctor Ha, I love you, like, thank you for taking care of me, I'll see you next week,"
Mhm.
it's just like,
Yeah.
it's it just reminds you, you know what? Like, it's all about mindset, it's all about how you see the world, and
That's right.
you can see it like, I'm suffering and I don't have anything, or you can see it like, it's a beautiful day, and I am
Mhm.
grateful to be
Yeah.
alive.
So interesting. I have this, I don't even know how to quote it accurately, but I have this little sign in my office, and it's, the way you see the world is how you treat the people that you see.
Yeah,
And it's like you just said, mindset and being open enough to, see the humanity, because you could have taken away from that. From the story, it sounds
right,
like you got the community and the positive aspect out of that. You're acknowledging that there was some deficits there, but
for sure.
others in this life may just focus on the negative and not be able to see the positive out of that, and certainly in that community. So thank you. Wow. Didn't
Wow.
expect to
Thank
You're
you
talk
for
welcome, I
about
mean,
that.
sharing that.
we can do a whole
Yeah.
podcast
Yes.
on that, I got
Yeah.
just for days, but it was really, like, it was just
That
really
was humbling for all of us. I had just moved from Houston to Dallas, in practice in Arlington, and we had patients come there, no records, like nothing,
Oh,
and would
and we
never have records again, so you knew nothing, and
no.
they were just, again, so grateful that doctors, especially like, pregnant patients that, maybe 30 weeks
Oh,
pregnant, that
yeah.
doctors would take them in without knowing maybe they're high risk or whatever, but you're like, of course,
Yeah.
it's what we do.
So one of the rules was, I don't know that it was a rule in the military, but they didn't tell you where you were going. So we got evacuated one night. It took 2 more days to get evacuated, honestly. And so like the 5th night, we finally got evacuated to the airport, and each gate was like a hospital. Like we had like 200 patients. And so at a gate, and, so like, I actually did get to see some resident friends because they were a couple of gates away taking care of their patients. And I was like, oh, hey, how are you? But they wouldn't tell you until you were on the plane where you're going. So you're getting onto these C-130s, which are very like,
Oh, you mean a
oh, yeah.
military jet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like we were C-1, like this was all, in fact, everybody got evacuated that way. And so we
Wow.
wanted to fit as many people into the plane as possible. And so and
Yes.
I'm taking care of vets. So like I'm worried that this
Yes.
is activate a traumatic experience, or
Sure,
Yes.
PTSD, yeah.
PTSD. And so like we're, at this point we don't even have medication, to help them, but we're really just kind of checking on them like, how you doing? I know that this is suboptimal, but
Yeah.
they're the sweetest, they're just like, don't
Vets
worry
are
about it,
tough. I mean,
I got you. Yeah. Like
they're
I
great.
remember sitting at the gate and trying to open an MRE, and I had never, like, this was the first food we
A
had in
Replacement.
yeah,
Oh,
Replacement,
okay.
meal
Thank
ready,
you.
emergency room.
military ready to yeah, something, yeah,
Uh,
but it's the packaged
it's been
meals.
Oh, meal ready to eat,
meal ready to
maybe.
eat. There you go. And they're like 5,000 calories and 5,000 grams of salt and, all the things. But I got to do this eating mechanism, and I'm like, I'm exhausted and I can't figure it out. And, one of them sees me and he's like, Tata, how? You just give this to me. I'll take care. And teaches me how to do it. And
Wow.
they're just, I mean, they're amazing. Like, it's like, you're the
Yeah,
patient. Like, I want to be taking care of you, but like, they took care of us too. So it was just,
wow. Well,
you like, you can look at
that's
it.
certainly yeah, go ahead, sorry. Mhm.
No, it just, you can look at it as like it was a traumatic experience, or it'd be like, it was beautiful in many ways. Like,
Mhm.
it was really touching the way like we
Or
all took care of each other and came together.
or how about both? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I'm sorry,
yeah.
one more question.
Yeah.
And where did you end up being evacuated to?
Little Rock, Arkansas. Um,
Oh, okay. Right up the road a little bit.
Funny story, but obviously, I wasn't drinking any wine or anything during this whole, 5 days, in the hospital. So we wake up the next morning, and we go to a Mexican restaurant that's just, like, right next to the hotel
Mm.
for lunch, and it's like, "I'll have
Margarita.
a margarita," right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
A normal functioning woman who's been there, "I can have a
Absolutely.
margarita."
That's
She's
your
like, "Oh,
Yes.
go-to.
we're a dry county." I was like, "We're done."
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. I would have
Hold on.
died.
Peace out. We go back to the hotel.
We're
We
from
like,
New Orleans. What you mean
right,
dry?
exactly.
That's funny. Oh, wow.
Oh,
And yet
like,
that's all that you're thinking of probably
that's
when you
all. I'm like,
wine,
I'm gonna have an
drink. Yeah.
enchilada and a margarita. Like, I can't wait.
Chips
Like,
and salsa.
I don't even think we finished the chips and salsa. We were like,
We were like,
I'm
we're
done.
out of here.
That's funny. Oh, wow.
Yeah, good times,
Wow.
good times.
Good
That
times.
is great.
Well,
Thank you so much for sharing.
yeah.
That brought us some
Absolutely, yes.
joy
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
have.
and memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely share some light on your experience and where it adds those sorts of experiences add to your perspective and how you view life and, value your
Right.
time,
Mhm.
and your energy and,
Yeah.
practicing mindfulness. So, yeah. Wow.
And I
Yeah.
also think it makes us better physicians because those are human
Mhm.
moments.
Right.
And how
Absolutely.
we navigate those human moments, I think
Yes.
better equips us to be present with our patients,
Mm.
to provide more empathetic, compassionate care. So yes, thank you
Mm.
again for sharing. So
Yeah.
tell us when we talk about women physicians, we typically are doing 3 million things, whether it's, family, could be children, spouse, could be caregiving duties. we talk about our careers and making sure that we are on track and moving
Mhm.
forward with our careers. And
Mhm.
then, if we're in sororities, all of the things. So then,
Mhm.
how do women physicians in particular learn how to set boundaries as well as protect their energy?
Yeah. Oh, such a great question to start with. Thanks, Sylvia.
Mhm.
Um, I think I think it's so hard because we go through training that is 10 plus years long. And what are we told along the way? Say yes, everything's an opportunity, right? You can put it on your
Mhm.
CV. Like, this would be
Yep.
great for your CV, right?
TV.
Everything's great for your CV. I mean, I ended up, I told the story this year when Angela was with us
Yeah.
at WW of just having this incredible 50-page ridiculous CV
Mhm.
and I have no energy left to give. I have nothing left to give here.
To get.
Like,
Mhm.
I'm just exhausted. And it's like I hadn't looked after myself, but I'd signed on for everything. And the
Mhm.
culture teaches us, literally teaches us to say yes, even when
Yes.
we're tired. Like,
Mhm.
you don't need a bathroom break. You don't need to eat lunch today. Like, put the patients first. And while I do agree that there are times when that needs to happen, there are times where we need to put ourselves first. And I think
Mhm.
that is few and far between.
Yeah.
So I remember really reflecting and saying, like, I have to start setting boundaries. And I had gone, so a little quick backstory. I had had 3 kids in 5 years, because the biological clock was ticking. I was a new attending, junior faculty, like right out of the gates, right? Let's just have some kids. We're a dual physician household, both academic, trying to do the
Mhm.
research and the teaching and all the things. And I had just had my 3rd child. And at the same time, I had made it to associate professor.
Oh,
And
wow.
a couple of
You were
months
All the
moving.
things.
I was moving.
Yes.
I was because they know, right? Like,
Right.
and I remember being on maternity leave with my son, with my youngest, and obviously being tired because of that, but also like, whew, just
Yeah.
I want to take a deep breath. And a couple months later, I had my faculty assessment review, which was, annual thing. And I went in to my chair and he said, like, congratulations, great job. You did this. And like, oh, this is a really big CV. Good job. Great, great, great. And now what are you going to do? Right. And kind of waiting with like bated breath, like, and now what?
Yeah.
Going to do to get you to full professor? And I just
Exactly.
remember feeling
Hmm.
so like, even though I knew that question was coming, so like shocked and like, are you kidding me right now? Like,
Mhm.
I just had a baby. I'm
Doing all
exhausted.
these things.
I'm
Yeah.
doing everything. And my response was probably not as well put as I would like it to be, but was like, there might have been, you know, some strong wordage.
Kidding?
And
Yes.
was
Are you
your
kidding?
chair a man? Am I going to assume that?
Yes, yes. And but he was
Mm,
Mhm.
now I let me say though, he was absolutely lovely in that moment. And,
Mhm.
and
mhm.
Mhm.
he's wonderful. He's absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful. And his response was, I get you. I have
Mhm.
to ask. That's what this
Yeah.
assessment is supposed to be. And
Yep.
okay, take a little time, take a breather. But like, we have to recognize that breather's not
Figure it
going to take
out.
us forever. At
Mhm.
some point, you got to tell me what's next. And so I
Mhm.
remember being thankful and grateful and also recognizing I need to do something different. So I went back
Mhm.
to this and I went through this crazy CV and I put stars next to everything and I rated it like 1 to 5 stars. How much, not like, how good it looked and how impressive it was and all that. Just, does it give me joy? Does it,
Love
and maybe
this.
it did, but does it give me joy today? Because there were things that I absolutely used to love to do, but I had kind of grown out of it. I had kind of
Mhm.
grown past it. And I did that for all 50 pages. And I remember looking at it and being like, wow, like this sucker could go down to 1 page pretty easily for things I'm
Mm.
actively doing.
Yeah.
It's based on that. And that was when I realized, okay, you've learned how to say yes, and now you got to start backing out of all of these things. How do I start saying no? And I started small. I started with the small things, the things where like I didn't really mind if I burnt a bridge. I didn't really mind if somebody wasn't super thrilled with me for,
Mhm.
saying that I need to back out of this. And over time, I actually learned, I kind of created a system for how I was going to say no that was more
Oh, please
standardized. Yeah,
share
I'm
with
glad.
that.
Yeah,
Yes, she's got some great ones.
yeah,
Yes.
I got a good one. So And I did that because I think when you take the emotion out of it, the more you take the emotion out of it and you just
Sure.
you have a system. I like systems. I like protocols. I like strategies where it's on those days when you don't feel you can give the energy, you can just you
Mhm.
refer to the system, right? So, okay, here's the strategy. It's the 4 A's. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna start with appreciation. And this could be like an email, a phone call, a conversation, whatever it is. So you can use it in any situation. The first thing is like appreciate, hey, thank you, by the way, for thinking of me for this leadership opportunity 6, 8, 12 years ago, whatever it is. Thank you for thinking of me. I appreciate that because you have to recognize that at some point somebody did think of you and you're grateful for that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to circle back around to like why that's important in a minute, but you start with appreciation. Then you're going to go to accomplishments. And I want you to know, like over the past however long, these are the successes we've seen. So this is what has gone well. Being on the discharge summary committee, we have decreased tardy discharge summaries by 23%.
Okay.
And, my team and I, and we're very proud of that. And we'll circle back around to why that's important as well.
Let me
But
guess. That was on the lower list of what brought you joy. Okay.
you saying I don't get joy from tardy discharge songs?
Sorry. Sorry.
That
Go on
may
to
have been
step
one
3.
of 'em. Then you're going to lay out an action plan with a deadline. And when you do this, well, okay, so you're going to lay out an action plan. I'm going to step away from this opportunity at this time, and you're going to give a deadline to it. Now, 2 things with this. One, when you say that you're going to step away, you're going to say things like, at this time, I'm trying to make room for new opportunities, or my interests have changed, or something vague, right? And why are we doing that?
Not
Because
like, I hate you people. You sucked all the life out of me.
right.
I'd never do this
So
again, and I wish I had never met you. We don't do that.
we're gonna save that one for the email we don't send.
Right.
Okay.
You want to keep the door open.
You want to keep the door open. And if you give specifics, if you say like, hey, I can no longer serve in this role because my daycare doesn't open till 7
They're
a.m.
gonna try and fix that for you
Right.
Which is the
and
bigger
keep
problem.
you in there.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's easier to switch the meeting time by an hour than it is to find a new leader for the role, right?
Right.
So
Interesting.
what you don't want to do is give them a problem to solve other than filling your role. Okay?
Hey,
Yeah.
let me ask you, I'm gonna interrupt you for a moment.
Yeah.
What about I've already identified JW, and JW is excited to be on this discharge planning committee, and, I can
You come-
connect you via
you're-
email, let me know.
That's step 4.
Yep,
Oh,
step 4.
sorry. Okay.
You got it, Sylvia.
I'm a
She's on
planner.
board. She's like, what would be a good step 4? So you're going to lay out a plan that's vague with a deadline. Now, you do a deadline because what happens if you just say, I'm stepping away? They say, oh, absolutely. As soon as we find a replacement. But they are not
Exactly.
motivated to find a replacement by a certain
Because
time.
you did too good of a job.
You are.
Mhm. So they're going to take their time because you cannot be replaced easily, right? So now it's a year later and you're still in that role. So you say by on June 30th, I'm stepping away. So it's very clear to everyone what the deadline
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
Then you're going to make recommendations. You're going to acknowledge that there are other people that would serve great in this role and that you can help, with introductions. So you say, by the way, I recognize that, now I've kind of created a little bit of a problem for you. And so let me help you with the solution. I know 3 people that I think would serve wonderfully in this role. Now, when you do this, you want to keep in mind 2 things. Who are the 2 populations that are always overlooked for leadership opportunities? Women.
Women and
Women,
people of
women,
color.
color.
Mhm. So you're going to make sure that at least one is a woman and one is a person of color. Okay.
Mhm.
And hey, if all 3 are, that's even better. So then you're going to follow up one last time.
And we already know that they're overqualified.
Qualified.
Let's
Right.
just
And
say
then
that for people
Yeah.
who are
If you're-
listening,
Absolutely.
who's like, oh, it's a diversity hire. No, sweetie.
No,
They
no.
are more than
Right.
qualified.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then you're going to follow up at the end with acknowledgement one more time. And again, thank you for thinking of me. And should any future opportunities arise where you think I would be a good fit, I would welcome a conversation. So this opens the door where you're saying, I don't want to never hear from you again. If you think that's something in the future, great. It's just that this one isn't a fit for me anymore.
Mhm.
And then you end kindly, respectfully yours, et cetera, et cetera. So that can be, and
Very
that can
good.
be email, it can be a phone call, it can be a conversation in the hallway. It works really well in any of those settings. But on those hard days where you really are, just exhausted, it's really nice to just have those kind of 4 A's to like lean back on.
Love that. Loved it when I heard it, and I was like, if I had used that in when I left the job where I am right now, particularly with that kind of that, "Hey, I like it here. They liked me a lot, but I need to be able to slow down a little bit." Because I heard afterwards, 'cause and there was no room for that, so I had been told, but then, later heard that, "Oh, no, if we knew you were leaving,
We knew
then."
you were
Right.
serious about leaving the
Yeah.
organization, then we
Yeah,
would have
so
done something. But that
yeah,
goes to the culture too, and
absolutely.
that for me seems to be problematic because I'm drowning. You
Mhm.
know I am,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So
you don't want to be proactive.
exactly. So that leads actually to the next question for us as women, and, I mean, this would apply to women in any profession that's working, but particularly women in medicine. What does burnout actually look like day to day for women in medicine? Not the statistics, but the real thing. What can you identify? What can you help people identify?
Oh, yeah. It looks like a woman who has got it all together and
Mhm.
is doing all the things, and she's smiling and she's confident and she's calm under pressure. She looks like a rock star. That's what she looks like because
Mhm.
that's what we do, right? Like,
It's
A
true.
I mean,
projection, absolutely.
we're projecting an amazing professional presence to
Mhm.
everyone around us. So that woman that you think, man, she's got it figured out. She doesn't. She doesn't. Check in on her. She's not okay. I mean, certainly we see, those times where, like you're going into your office and, you're crying, you're upset, you've had a difficult patient, and we're showing those frustrated emotions. Those are times where we need help and we're burned out too. But
Yeah.
I would say 9 times out of 10, it is that woman that looks like she's got it all together. She is just
Mhm.
locked at check on her, right?
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Because I would
It's
say there's not really the space, for women to have emotions, and I'm gonna ask for some assistance with that, but what I'm saying is sometimes it is not a safe space we can't be angry, we cannot be short or ill-tempered, not that we should be with people.
Yeah.
We certainly can't cry or be more emotional because we are women, and there is that stigma that women aren't strong enough, or all of
You're
those
weak.
emotions are they're double-edged
Yeah.
swords for us. So kinda talk about how conflict in medicine for women are really showing emotions, for women especially who may be burned out is different for women versus men.
Yeah, I think it's such a challenge. Yeah, I mean, and I am speaking to the choir here because I know that, your listeners and both of you understand this completely, but, so often when men get upset, they may express it more as anger, and that
Mhm.
is supported. That is encouraged. He feels passionate. He's upset about, this patient
Passionate.
encounter. And when women get upset, we often will, tears will happen. And
Mhm.
that a different response to the same emotion, the same
Yeah.
intensity, of a situation. Neither one should be right or wrong. They should both be
Right.
considered, strong feelings. And
Mhm.
but unfortunately, in our culture, really, those tears are looked down upon. And even if that's not the reaction, even if it's more anger or
Mhm.
irritability, that's looked down upon. That like, oh, she's a right,
Exactly.
Or
like
Yes.
hormonal.
or hormonal or too emotional. That's why
Or
I
angry,
Mm.
as women of color, that trope about angry Black women, that's also the thing too, so
right,
yeah.
and we all get as women, we get not a team player, right?
Right.
Oh,
So,
yes.
she's not playing with the team.
Yes.
Men aren't expected to play as a team in the same way that women are. We're expected, really based on our biology, to be communal, right?
Mhm.
And, welcome everyone in, support everyone, be maternal in its own way. And men are not men are kind of forgiven when they don't do that. when they're individuals. So I think that really can be challenging when you're actually supposed to be the leader. Yes, you might have a team, but it's a team that is supposed to be someone that or a set of people that you're leading, not necessarily people that you are interacting with on the same kind of playing field or level. So I think that makes it really challenging when you're supposed to be in the team and in charge of the team at the same time, because those roles are very vague, right? And they can do a lot of miscommunication and a lot of misunderstandings about, order taking and who's in charge.
So that's all very good insight. And you've obviously captured kind of all of this wisdom and now succeeding on your own terms instead of someone else's. And you kind of led us through the process, it sounds like, of starting to eliminate some of the things that didn't serve you anymore. What, in your idea, what does it actually require of women when we're trained to put everyone else first, just as you mentioned, to now do this maybe elimination process and move forward? What does it require? What did it require from you?
It required learning to say no, and it required me starting to put myself first for the first time. And that was really difficult, honestly. Probably more difficult than the boundary setting was, okay, I've created this space in my schedule, this time in my schedule that's free now. And now I have to block it off. That part was actually really hard because I wanted to fill it up with something again, right? Like it felt very strange to not do, to just sit.
To be.
To just be. Yes, Sylvie, yes. It was that I had never done that.
Was it the idea that you wanted to fill it up with something, or you just saw all these things that, in your life that, for me, it's like that needs to be done. So how can I block time for myself?
It was a little bit of that, and then just this almost like anxiety of like, I'm not doing anything. I'm supposed to be, I'm always supposed to be doing something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If I'm not sleeping, what do you mean I'm just supposed to sit here and like just be like, but I needed that time and space, like mental space without doing to reflect on, okay, where do I want to go next? What do I really, really want? And what does that look like? The perfect world to me, Do I really want to spend a lot of time with my toddler? Like, maybe I don't. Maybe I did.
And that's fair.
Like I said, do I want to spend more time with my husband? I mean, but like it was just really testing those moments. I'm going to block this time, and I'm really going to take. And for me, I think it was about 6 months where I said, you can't sign up for anything. I wanted to feel that longing again for something. Like, because I could sign up for things, and I had proven myself in my institution. So people are like, yeah, sure, sign. Yeah, come do this, come do that, right? And it's like, no. I want to feel a longing for it again. Like, I can't wait to do that. And that's what I was looking for. And I was also just rest. I just knew that, like, I wasn't, this is going to sound weird, but like, I wasn't thinking at my highest capacity. I wasn't really critically thinking about my life. I was just like getting through it and being so exhausted at the end of the day that I never reflected on, is this what I want? And so the hardest part was really sitting back and just being and doing some things that were restful. Honestly, I will tell you, one time I remember I was admin, and I had gone in for, a few hours, and I was driving home, and I was sitting at a stoplight, and I looked across the street, and there was a movie theater. And I was like,
that's speaking my language.
Movie at like 1:00 in the afternoon. That's so bizarre. It was like mind blowing. Who is in there right now? Okay. So I was like, oh my God.
Find out.
Be me. I could go to the movies. I was like, no. So I went to the movies, and I went to see Magic Mike. I mean,
oh, you really went.
I went for it. Okay, so I go in, and I walk into this movie theater, and I look around, and it's one of those like dine-in movies, and it is a bunch of women, obviously, sitting alone. Each of them, at 1:00 in the afternoon, is like, I'm just going to go see this. My husband doesn't want to see it with me. Like, we were all like in our individual seats, and they had their Chardonnay and their hummus platter. And that was
love it.
one of those. And it was glorious. But I cannot you the last time before that I had had that kind of experience where I just did something completely for me without the kids with me, making sure it
Mm.
was a good experience for them, managing someone else along the way, doing something that includes someone else. And
Yes.
so it started like that with these little moments that felt completely ridiculous. Like, I can't believe I took 2 hours for myself. And I started to just try to build on that. It felt very uncomfortable. I mean, it sounds like a wonderful experience, but the first time you do it, it feels very much like, what am I doing? That I'm taking
Mhm.
this time for myself. I should be
Yeah.
with the kids. I should be at work. I should be reviewing charts,
Yeah.
And I had to kind of build up my, mental muscle around that and like,
Mm.
it's okay. I mean, honestly, I used to like be driving to like go get a massage and say, this is okay, Erica. It is okay for you to
Uh-huh.
take for yourself.
To take some.
And started to practice that. And in practicing that, I kind of got back into my mind and my soul and what fills me up again,
Yeah.
like inside medicine, but also outside medicine. And I was able to start reflecting in a way that I hadn't in years and
Mm.
just really start asking myself, what do you want next? What do you want that to look like? And and that's how WPW came about. And I was like, that's crazy. What are you doing? You're going to blow up your life for this? Like you have a good life. You have,
Right.
everybody's thriving, everybody's healthy. I have a
Right.
great career. Like
I don't have to change.
I have to change. But I kept coming back to the more that I knew myself, the more that I sat with myself, the more excited I became for that new idea. And okay, let's see where this goes. Let's grow this.
So in 2018, you started the Women's Physician Wellness Conference in Grand Cayman, of all places.
Places,
So can
absolutely.
you go back to going into that first conference that you had?
Yes.
And again, you did it in Grand Cayman. So it's like that would be a huge leap. It'd be one thing to do it down the street at the Ramada, no disrespect to the Ramada Inn. What were you feeling like in 2018?
Yeah.
How did you know that this was okay, this is the right thing for me to do? How did you pull this off?
So we had gone on our 10th wedding anniversary, I believe, to Grand Cayman. And this was like a little spark in the back of my brain at this point.
Mm. 'Kay.
And I remember, like you just get the feeling, like you just walk into a place and, it reminded me of Charity Hospital, honestly, in its own way. Like that, just
Mm.
that feeling, this is it. I have to be here.
Mhm.
Place.
Okay.
And we were in Grand Cayman and it was so beautiful. And we were at a kind of a boutique hotel. And I thought, this is perfect. And then I was
Mm.
at the same time, I had recently stepped away from a faculty development course that I had been teaching for many years, multiple faculty development courses, in fact. And I'd been teaching on medical education. And so I knew a lot about adult learners and adult medical
Mhm.
adult learners medicine. And the more I thought about these women, I thought, okay, what do I know to be true? What do they need? How can I be strategic? This is I don't want this to just be another conference. I want this to be
Yeah.
something that is really life changing for them as much as it can
Mhm.
be. Strategic.
Mhm.
Strategic kept coming to mind. So I thought, okay, well, I know if you sent me to a conference down the street in Kansas City, what would I do? I'd take my laptop, right? And I would open it
And
up
work.
and
Mm.
I'd be listening, but I'd also be checking my email and I'm
Yeah.
Mhm.
pushing a couple charts, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was like,
Yeah.
Might take a
well,
call
I'm
at
going to take a call
lunch.
real quick,
Yes.
but that sounded like that was really good information that they were teaching, but I'm going to take this call,
Right.
right? So I took my pager, like all the things.
Mhm.
So I was like, how far can I get these women away from their work
To go.
to
Yeah.
go? My husband at the same time was kind of went a little begrudgingly because he was like, he was in clinic all the time, so he was always having an inbox full of labs and all this. And he's like, I don't know if I'm going to have good Wi-Fi and be able to check my charts. And I said,
Mhm.
I see, that's the point.
Right.
So when we got there, the Wi-Fi was okay, but it wasn't fantastic. And so he
Uh-huh.
eventually gave up. And I was like, this is what I want. I want these women to really
To
like
unplug.
be able to do all the other things so they can really sit here with these other women and learn, connect. So that was how Grand Cayman happened. And then when I asked myself, I was like, can I do this? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Well, my Achilles heel is thinking everything's easier to do than it actually is. And I was
Mine too.
thinking, okay. I was like, well, I've planned a wedding before, so I know how to plan an event. And I know how to get CME because I've been doing this faculty development course. And I had been kind of on,
That's
giving lots of
huge.
talks at academic conferences.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other great women physician speakers that have
Mhm.
amazing information to share. Why don't I reach out to them? And
Mhm.
that's just how I started. We started with my secret dream was to get 50 women in the room. But what I would tell people was 30 because I felt like 50 just felt huge for some reason.
Uh-huh.
And we got 55 the first year.
All
And
Wow,
right.
love
it was
that.
beautiful and
Yeah.
wonderful. And then we grew. The second year, which did happen to be February of 2020, we got
Just
100
slid in
Before the
there.
pandemic. Right before the pandemic. What a memory. Wow, you come
right
back to
under
shut
the
down.
wire. I
Hopefully
remember
not a
sitting
super
in
spreader
Grand
event.
Cayman. We were I hope not. I remember us sitting in Grand Cayman, and we were all wearing masks at this point, mainly because we were medical professionals, not because it had
Yes.
really the United States yet, but because we were paranoid medical professionals.
Mm.
And while I was in Grand Cayman, we learned of the first case in Washington State. And we're like, "Oh,
Ooh, I remember
is this
that.
gonna be a
Yes, that
thing?"
nursing home.
And
Is
we're
it?
all talking about it. And then we flew home, and 3 weeks later,
Shut down.
shut down. Lockdown.
Yep.
So we had to pause
Wow.
for a minute. But yeah, it just and then I had women that kept approaching me and saying, "Okay, Grand Cayman was great. When are you gonna do it somewhere else now?" Or
Yeah.
"Do it in another Caribbean island so I can experience that." Or
Yeah,
"Hey, I can't get CME outside the continental US. Can you
that
bring
part.
it inside the US for us?" And so by the time we came back, we did a virtual. We did 2 virtuals. By the time we came back in 2022, we really were like, "Okay, let me see where this goes, and let's expand it to 3 and see what the women want." And so it's really just been I ask the women every time, "What do you want next?" And they tell me they're wonderful that way, and I try to make sure we have it. So, yeah,
Well
that's
well, I experienced my first, in May in Aruba, and I have to say it was
Were
absolutely
you a
the
speaker, Angela Walker?
I was honored, yes, that I was a speaker there, but I was more a participant than a speaker. I mean, I soaked it all up. I initially thought, well, I mean, I don't know if I can afford to do all those days. I got all this stuff. My mom had been ill, but my husband, God bless him, stayed back and helped with my mom. So I was just like, I'm just going to take it all in, and I was there from the first speaker to the very last, and it's just an amazing. I was like, well, how did I miss this before? And I can't say enough good things about the conference. And what I wanted to ask you, because I certainly know how it felt for me, but what surprised you most about women physicians, what they needed once they were actually in this room together?
yeah, I always try to put incredible speakers like yourself on stage. Angela did such an incredible job, and she's coming
Yes.
back in
Thank you.
2027 as
Yeah.
well.
I am.
I'm
I
so
am.
excited. I mean, you were
Same.
fantastic, which you
Oh,
And
know how
where
thank
will
you.
it
for.
be in 2027?
Mm,
She's
you're
got a lot going
doing
on. I'm doing Bahamas, which is the women professional
professional.
wellness
Yeah.
conference, which I'm very excited about, and that's in January. Bahamas in
Mhm.
January.
Yeah.
Bahamas
Yeah.
in January.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
it's
but the women physicians wellness, the one that I attend, that's now gonna be in February, right?
yes, we're switching. So Aruba will be in February and Grand Cayman will be in May. We're just trying to kind of keep the prices down for everybody for hotel rooms because those suck.
I would go to all of them if I could.
And Erica, why don't you just go ahead, for our audience to go ahead and tell us where can we find information about the Women's Physician Wellness Conferences?
Absolutely. So we have 2 different websites. We have the womenphysicianswellness.com website, which is for our physicians only, and that's exclusive to them. So then we also have created the Women Professionals Wellness Conference, which is for NPs, PAs, non-medical women professionals, lawyers, veterinarians, dentists. I guess I'm still covering a lot of medical, but social workers, psychologists,
Anyway,
anyone and physicians as well. So we
professional.
still meet for that
Yes.
them as well. We had heard that a lot of women physicians, they might want to bring their non-physician friends or their team, right? So the nurse case.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
Nice.
that is womenprofessionalswellness.com. And then we have our closed Facebook group for women physicians, which is Women Physicians Wellness Conference. And that is obviously on Facebook. And then Instagram is WPW conferences. And that is just a way to kind of keep up to date on all the things WPW, both professionals and physicians. So yeah, those are the ways that you can reach out and connect with us and kind of follow along with what's going on, or register, of course. But no,
Yes, absolutely.
you mentioned, what was the biggest surprise? I had tried to put these incredible speakers on the stage to learn from them. And I had an inkling that they were going to learn just as much from the other women in the room. But sometimes, there are people that are more introverted and don't connect as well in that kind of thing. But it was so beautiful. And every time it inspires me so much to keep going with this, to see the way that they connect and form relationships. I tell everyone, I'm like, don't network here. This isn't where you network. This is where you build a relationship with other women that you can lean on in the future. I mean, I just heard from a woman in Vermont who just sent me a really lovely email. And when she got back, there were a few Vermont people. And so they got together. They call it a WPW Vermont group now. And they get together.
Aww. That's cool.
We could go to the Green Mountains in Vermont. There are places to go in Vermont. Sorry.
Just exactly what I want it to be.
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm putting on as many places as I can, but between, connect with each other and community and having those moments where you connect with each other, and just hearing from women afterwards, like, I finally realized I'm not alone. I always thought I was the only one. And that was exactly me too.
Yeah.
Like, I thought everybody else has got this figured out. Why can't I pull my stuff together?
Yeah.
And so it's really just recognizing we're all going through the same thing. And there are women that I can lean on and that I can connect with to make this a little bit easier.
Yeah. And you do a really good job in terms of the speakers. It is about wellness and, how we can do this life in medicine better and not necessarily leave it because we're burned out. But I mean, one of the speakers, she talked about EMR and how to capitalize on using electronic medical records, and you're billing and coding. You're doing the work, but a lot of us aren't trained to how to capture to make the most of your work in terms of how to capture, I guess, what you're
working smarter, not harder.
Right. Exactly. And then there was a speaker that talked about money. And so everybody's ears perked up in terms of saving and how to retire and how to do it smart, because we're all in medical profession typically delayed in our savings because of as you mentioned, the 10 years before we're actually usually making enough to save. So yeah, anyway, I can't say enough about the intention that you put into the variety of speakers, and it truly is a CME worthy conference. So yeah, thank you.
I really appreciate it.
So Erica, what do you say to the woman physician who's listening now, who's like, I am too busy to do this. I don't have the time. I have 1,001 other things to do. What do you say to her?
Yeah, I know.
You're right. Yes.
I know. I agree. I was like that. I didn't take a vacation for 7 years in the beginning of my career. It was insane. It was insane. Like, I went to Jamaica with my husband and the only reason that we went alone was because we won tickets that were for just us.
Wow.
And you didn't take vacation because you didn't have the time. You didn't feel like you had the time. Why didn't you take vacation? Because there was some scheduled.
Yeah, 3 kids, 5 years, 2 physician schedules to manage.
Yes.
Who's going to watch the kids? If I leave, the email's just going to fill up. The inbox will just fill up more.
More work when you get back. Absolutely.
I get back, I'm going to have to make up the time. Not worth it. I mean, the list goes on, right?
Yes, it does.
I remember the first time, and this was not, anything WPW. We went to Jamaica because we had to, really, because we had to use the tickets. We didn't be wasteful because we won them. And we went in, we got to the hotel, we shut the blinds, shut the door, and we slept for 14 hours. And slept. And I cannot tell you anything about Jamaica. I mean, it's lovely. It seems lovely. We went from the hotel room to the restaurant, to the beach, to the pool, to the hotel room, to the restaurant, to the beach, to the pool. That was it. Yeah. I know nothing about Jamaica other than that. And it was like we're suddenly seeing color again. That's the only way I can think to describe it. It was like the world was in color again. because have been so tired. I know you're
Mm.
tired. I know it's hard to schedule. I know that it doesn't, like it costs money and,
Mhm.
take time away from the kids and you feel guilty. And there is going to be more work when you get home. That sucks.
Mhm.
I want to fix that for you, but that may be a future problem we deal with. You got to do
Right.
it anyway. You have to
Mhm.
put yourself first in this moment anyway. I
Mhm.
guarantee you what you will get out of this conference will pay you back tenfold. And
Mm.
honestly, I'm going to tell you this, like, even if you don't choose WPW, even if you choose another women physicians wellness conference for women, do
Mhm.
that. Just make the time to put yourself first for just a couple of days.
Mm.
And yes, there'll be work on the other end, but I
Mhm.
promise you that the connection and the community that you're going to find and the strategies that you're going to learn, women are incredible communicators and they're really
Yes.
at sharing information and knowledge with each other. I
Mhm.
really feel like that's one of our superpowers is like we get into like, no offense to guys, but they get into a room for 3 hours, they end up watching a football game. And you're like,
Or
didn't
yeah.
divorce? And you're
What you
my
talking
husband's
about?
like, no, did he?
We're talking about.
It's like we get into a room for 3 hours and we've
We're
come out with,
talking.
a new
We
Instacart.
solved some problems.
You
Yeah.
solved the world's problems right there. And like she's got a new
Yes.
nanny and,
Yes.
she's gonna have a talk with her
Yeah.
husband about doing the dishes more often. Like
Mm.
we've
Yep.
solved shit. So like I understand 1000% those
Mm.
feelings of I just can't right now. And you still need to. You still need
Mhm.
to. And you need to do it regularly. And it needs to
Mhm.
simply be a part of your life that you make time for. And that part of your life needs to be about you. So,
Mhm.
do I, we certainly will allow women to come with their families or with their husbands or spouses or partners.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's great when women come alone or with
Mhm.
other, right? Just other women. And because just the knowledge and the strategies shared and the conversations that happen, I
Yeah.
really feel like that fills our souls. That
Mhm.
women need women, and
Yeah.
we need that community. So I could go on
Yeah.
forever, but really, I hear you. I hear all those issues. Experienced all of that. I made all those mistakes, and you should do it anyway.
And I
And
wanna make sure that
it's
we
also.
include women that may not have partners or children, because
Yes,
Mhm.
we too get burned out. We
absolutely.
Yes.
too are expected to be on all the
Things.
committees, do,
Care family.
all the caregiving within our family, to
Yep.
make sure that our own households are running smoothly because we too are corporations,
Mhm.
and it's not just women who have partners or who
No,
have children
Absolutely.
who are burned out or who are overextended. So I want to make certain that those women also are seen and know that they need a vacation and that
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
definitely need to seek out a women's wellness conference like WPW to make sure that they are staying engaged, they are in community.
Mhm. And I
And I
saw that at that conference. It's like it's the validation of everyone because we all have different experiences. And then if you're in your own silo and your practice or your hospital, it's the same people but in this atmosphere, it's you've got a variety of careers, a variety of specialties, a variety of experiences, life experience, but it's validation no matter what across the board. You're going to find somebody that validates where you are, but also it's that encouragement and support to do it differently and just no, okay, well, she did it, she did it. Why can't I? And
yes,
then the ideas of how to do it differently. So
Yeah.
yeah,
right.
yeah, it's
Completely.
really
I
great.
think the encouragement, like, sometimes it's saying that thing that feels a little bit crazy, like, "I think I wanna do this thing. I think I
Yeah,
wanna, transition to a different idea of medicine." I'm doing telehealth or locums or, whatever that looks
yes.
like. But when so much of our training is very traditional. It's,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you're either academic or private practice, and
That's it.
there is a feeling of less than if you don't do one of those 2
Oh,
tracks.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
so how
And
do
if you're in
I
academics and you're not choosing academics and
Mhm.
moving up the ladder from assistant to associate to full, there is
Mhm.
something wrong with you.
Right.
Mhm.
Why would you not choose to continue to work your butt
Right.
off?
Exactly.
Off.
Like right.
You're
Exactly. I
poorly
mean, so it's
compensated.
Sylvia, you brought up such a good point of, the women that don't have children and don't have partners, because I remember when I graduated, I had a close friend. She was moving to Baltimore for a faculty position, and as was I, in different institutions. And she was really frustrated that she wanted to work part-time. And everyone said, "Oh, because you're a single mom," because,
Mm.
like trying to kind of fill in a blank there. And she said,
Exactly.
"Because I just worked for 10 years, non
Right.
and I just want to work
I
part-time."
had that same experience.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, and it
Wow.
was so foreign that she was getting this pushback of, like,
Yeah.
"You need a reason. Do you have a sick parent?" Like,
Mm.
"What's going on? Are you ill?" Like, it's like,
Right.
"Why do I need a that's just what I want to do."
I want. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that validation is so crucial to us, because you're right, we do work in silos so often, and so we're not really, and even if we do work beside other women physicians, you're focused on your work, right? And getting through the day and the patient volume, and there aren't long periods of time where we can sit down and be like, "Okay, tell me what you really think here." Like, I need to brainstorm. So
And
that's
it may not be safe to share that information
oh,
with your colleague. I mean, let's
that's
just be
true.
honest.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Right, not
Absolutely.
everybody has a safe space. Yeah.
No,
And sometimes you might be thinking of a career change, and that you don't wanna be sharing that at work, right?
not at work.
One of the things that we do at WPW, that people sometimes push back on a little bit, is we do assigned
Mhm.
seating. And I do that because
Really?
I know people don't like it in the beginning, but then
Yep.
they love it. And so,
Uh-huh.
really want women to come. If you're alone, okay, we've all been to those academic conferences where you walk into the room and you're like, "Where do I sit?" Like,
Yes.
this group looks like I think they know
No
each other.
issue.
So I don't
Right.
wanna go there, and then there's only one person at that table, and I don't wanna sit alone. So I assign seating, and I do it because, 1, I don't want you to I wanna take that worry away from you. Like, I'm
Mhm.
somewhat introverted.
Nice.
It sounds weird, but I actually am. And I wanna take that anxiety away. Like, you don't have to worry about where you're
Mhm.
gonna I'm gonna tell you where to sit, and it's gonna be a table
Yeah.
full of other women, and they don't know each other. And I want you to
Yes.
interact with women you don't know, because I actually think you're more likely to share with them what you really
Absolutely.
think when you don't
Right.
know them, they don't work with you, they didn't travel with
Yeah.
you, you know, you can just kinda share anything, and really hear feedback, and, God,
Mhm.
encouragement in a way that, might sound a little bit different than it does with maybe the girlfriends that you traveled with,
Somebody you know.
or
Yeah.
somebody you know from work, something like that. So, everything we do at WPW is really based on my years teaching in faculty development, and what I know
Mhm.
about adult learners, and trying to be just so strategic about everything we do, so that it creates the
Mhm.
best learning environment and the
Yeah.
best environment for connection that I possibly can. And so, because
Wow.
I know that you have limited time. I know that these women took 3 days out of their busy lives to come together, or, and to fly, sometimes halfway across the world to come join us.
Mhm.
I want it to be just, you know, incredible from day one. I want every moment to just be like the best that it can be for them.
Yeah. Well, the intentionality absolutely shines through, so I can vouch for that. So Erica, you pour so much obviously into others, and particularly with all these conferences, and I know with your family and friends. What does your self-care practice look like? What fills your cup? Give us the details.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a military brat. So I was raised a bit like a cadet, to be honest with you. My father had already
Love this
had
story.
first family, and there were boys, and then he had 2 girls, and Lord knows he didn't know what to do. So, things were very regimented, and naps were very
Ooh.
much frowned upon in our household. So,
Oh,
Mhm.
if you're taking a nap,
really?
that you should go to
Yeah,
bed.
can you imagine?
No
Yeah.
Yeah,
nap? Dad,
nap.
what?
So, rest has always been really hard for me. So,
Mhm.
I actually, since I have transitioned to WPW full time, I actively try to
Congratulations on
nap.
that.
Thank
That's
you.
huge.
Thank you. It is huge, and I'm so proud of just
As you should be.
what our community has created. This isn't me,
Yeah.
this is us,
The
right?
team.
Like,
Mhm.
this is all of us coming together and supporting each other. So I one of my big self-care things is trying to take naps, and recognizing when I'm tired, and saying, I actually have self-talk around this. This is a hard thing for me. I have to
Mhm.
say, like, "It's okay to rest. It's okay to
Mhm.
rest. It's okay to
Mhm.
take" nothing. No, there are no emergencies at WPW. Like nothing emergency. Nobody dies because they didn't register for
Yes.
WPW.
Right.
So, but that, between my training and my childhood, that's very difficult for me. So that's one of the big parts of my self-care. I also, each morning, I will go out and sit on our kind of back porch that overlooks our backyard. I'm a homebody. When I'm not traveling, I'm a big homebody. So I love travel and I also love my house. We'll just go sit.
Mm.
We try to drink our coffee and just, connect and talk.
Yeah, nice.
So do that. I try to do walks every day in nature, kind of the nature bathing.
Yes.
Really get a little
Nature
exercise
bath.
in. Nature bath. Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. And then I actually, so I'm big on two things. One is when I hang out with another woman, a friend of mine, I will try to schedule the next time that we're going to hang out while we're still
Mm.
together.
Do that.
One,
Yes.
Yeah,
to
me
look
too.
forward
Yes.
to, right? But
Sylvia's
also
good at that.
doesn't get lost in the schedule. And so I can
Right.
always,
Yes.
like, we've always got that next time we're going to see each other. So that I
Yes.
really want to put my friendships, at the top of my list because those women friendships are so important. And that was something I really let go of for many years. And it was really WPW where I started to recognize the importance of those and I have to start building that back. And so that's a way that I kind of ensure like I'm always connecting with the women that are important in my life.
Hmm.
And then I love travel. If you followed my Instagram for the last month,
Yes.
I've been to Greece for my husband's 50th. We went there for like 10 days. And then I just got back from an amazing trip to the British Virgin Islands as well.
Wow.
We chartered a yacht.
Living it life.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
anytime I'm traveling, I tend to say, okay, so what are we going to do next? So that we've always got that to look forward to as well. And so
Yeah.
just recognize like, what do I love? And how can I do more of it and make sure that it's a priority, like
Love
every day
that.
in some way. And so I'd love to
Great
hear your tips.
examples.
What do you guys do for your self-care?
Oh, boy. Well, I wish that I would like travel to be on the top of the list, and I'm working on that. But for me, starting every morning, really before I get out of bed with prayer, just being thankful, grateful. I tend to praying for everybody in the family. Mindful meditation. I think Sylvia and I both listen to Jay Shetty on the Calm app. So,
Yep.
and we've got nothing coming from him, but or Calm, but definitely plug it. And I plug it for my patients. But just mindful meditation, that's made a huge difference. And I think it's more of just the intentionality. I've done it, and it makes me feel better. And then walking. I've been trying to get on Sylvia's kick of doing it in the morning, but I've got the bulldog some mornings when my husband's already out the door, and so that he's not a walker. He does his
But
stuff, and then
Sebby
that's
is
it.
so cute. Sorry.
He's super
Sebby's
cute.
dog.
He's super cute, Sebastian. So try to walk in the evenings. And I am wanting so badly. My movies is my love language. Other than travel, I love the movies, and I love going to the movie theater. Unfortunately, I probably wouldn't be as healthy with the hummus. I'm going to do the popcorn. But I love the idea of doing something, a block of time of doing something different for myself. So I'm getting back into painting, but that requires you to actually set the time aside to do it. But yeah, those are some of the things I like to do.
And
How
I'm
about you,
going to
Sil?
add on to Angela and say I do a daily gratitude list.
Yes.
And then also, I really love a nature bath. So I
Yeah.
try and walk in the morning. So this morning before our recording, it was just 15 minutes, but I
Right.
put on my weighted vest and
Oh,
I
yeah.
walked down the street and I saw Miss Jerry and Charlie the dog. And I came on back, which means I probably will need to walk again this evening. But the walk is the thing
Yeah.
that settles me
Yes.
down, and it's
That's
just really very important.
Yeah. That's what I have to remember. If I can, maybe I just need to do that 10-minute. I'm always focused on if I'm going to go for a walk, I want it to be the 30 minutes and get it all in, but maybe just the brief morning introduction.
Do
We'll
what we
see.
can,
I
when we
so
can, where we
agree.
can, for
Yeah.
whom we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And so Sylvia, I'm with you. So like it was funny because I usually do a morning walk, but I was doing this. I was like, okay, I was so like excited. I was excited to do this and excited to go for the walk. Like, okay, so I may have some running shorts on.
Okay. We
Perfect.
encourage
I was like,
that.
I just do it. But
There
no,
we go.
I love the gratitude too. This is gonna sound a little corny, but every time that we get a registration in, I get an email notification, and I always try to say a little prayer for that person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say,
Oh,
so grateful
that's
that
lovely.
you're going to be with us, and I hope that you're well. And just like
Ah,
recognizing that each of those emails, each of those notifications is a woman who is tired and is, has 1,000 things on her plate. And at the same time, she's making the time and the
for
space
herself.
for WPW and for herself. And like, and just my gratitude for that. So that means a
Wow.
lot to me. So
Love that.
Wow.
So
Love
again,
it.
Erica, is there one thing you'd like to leave our audience with? Like, especially for the woman who is feeling burned out or stuck or has a kernel of an idea to make a change in her life?
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's going to sound simple, but you're worth it. Like
Oh,
you are
wow.
worth the effort that it
Yeah.
takes to put yourself first.
Mm.
You're just worth it. Like there was a time where I really felt like I shouldn't. That's I'm not, like I should be last. Like and to some extent I wanted to be last. Like I want to put my kids first. I
Mhm.
want my family
Right.
first and patients first.
Right.
You are worth being first.
Hmm. That and sometimes we just need to hear it from someone else and be
Yeah.
reminded of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very well. Dr. Howe, Erica, this conversation has been everything as I expected it to be. We thank you for showing up so fully and authentically and honestly with our community today. We know that there are so many gems and tools in their tool belts, the 4 A's that they can take away, but just the idea of, putting ourselves first so that we can be the best for everyone else in our lives, I think should be shouted out every day. So thank you for the reminder.
Thank you, Dr. Watson. Thank you, Dr. Morse. This was amazing. You guys, like, I want this. I hope you're changing lives too through these conversations and really, continuing to get this message out. It's so important. I do these events, and yes, it's 4 times a year, but there's an in between there that still needs coverage and needs connection. And that's what this podcast is offering. And
Mm,
on behalf of your audience, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that you invited me here today, and I would like to say thank you.
absolutely.
Like you're doing that life-changing work too. And
Mm,
Thank you very much. And please know that you have an open invitation to come back. And we'd love to continue our conversation with our audience and reminding them
absolutely.
that they are worth it.
thank you. I love
Absolutely. And if you want to connect with Dr. Howe or learn more about the Women Physicians Wellness Conference or Women Professional Wellness Conference, all the links will be in the show notes, and she mentioned them in the broadcast. You can go find her, follow her, and if the conference is calling your name, answer it. It is well worth it.
And new episodes of Boss Leap Podcast drop every Wednesday. Please like, listen, share, and subscribe. Please find us at bossleappodcast.com and also on YouTube.
And until the next time, may you be well.
May you be well.
That's a wrap on another episode of Boss Leap. May this conversation enlighten your path toward personal growth and professional empowerment. For more thought-provoking and eye-opening discussions like this one, head to our website at bossleappodcast.com. Always remember to celebrate your wins and trust yourself. A positive mindset can push you out of your comfort zone and into far greater heights. Until next time, may you be well.
Before we go, there's one more thing the lawyers have asked us to include. It's the legal language, and you know how doctors love lawyers. This podcast is presented only for educational and entertainment purposes. Although we are doctors, on this show, we are just your friends. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of your physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Understood? Awesome. We'll see you in the next episode.